Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. He is higher than a skyscraper, and He's deeper than a submarine. He is wider than the universe and beyond my wildest dreams. And He's known me and He's loved me since before the world began. How wonderful to be a part of God's amazing plan. Our God is a great big God.
I am Gretchen.
And I am Chris.
Won't you please?
Listen to this.
We're so glad
You tuned in.
God has the word.
Hey, let's begin.
The clock on the wall.
Says it's time.
No need to cry.
No need to whine.
So open your ears.
And sit back tight.
We have a word.
That's in the right.
Let's get started.
Don't take a nap.
Time's a wasting.
Let's end this rap.
Hey everybody, it's so great that you could join us today.
Yeah, we're going to talk about creation.
Have you ever created anything?
Yeah, like a drawing or a painting or maybe a sculpture.
Maybe you helped build something.
Or use your imagination to create a story.
Did you know that God creates too?
Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, God created everything we see.
We have with us our beautiful granddaughters, Haley and Riley.
Let's see what they say about this.
Who made the mountains?
God did.
Who made the trees?
God did.
Who made the oceans?
God did.
And who made the animals and the sea life?
God did.
Who made you?
God did.
And who made me?
God did.
Well, I'm not sure we want to blame God for that.
Oh, well, that's very funny.
I think
God
so.
did create me. As a matter of fact, when He created me, He threw the mold away.
That's because He didn't want to make that mistake again.
Oh, well, that's so funny. I forgot to laugh. All right, well, how about we watch a video about how God created the heavens and the earth?
Sounds good. Okay.
Sure.
All right, well, let's watch it.
God's story, creation. So part of God's story is about when He created the world, and it begins like this. Before the beginning of time, there was nothing. Nothing at all. No earth, no light, just emptiness. It was like the inside of a basketball, or a cup after you drink all the milk out of it. But God was there, and He had an idea. He wanted to fill up the emptiness. And guess what? Since He's God, He can make things appear just by speaking. It's like if you could say, "Let there be a roller coaster," and then any kind of roller coaster you wanted just appeared. So, in the middle of nothing, God said, "Let there be light," and the darkness was filled with light. Now, we know what light is, but remember, it had never existed before. Everything God made was brand new. So it was probably like when you're asleep, and someone comes in the room and flips on the lights. Except there were no people yet. God was creating a world for them first. Anyway, light was the first thing God made. He called the light day and the dark night. He made a huge space above water and called it sky. Then He gathered all the water, separated it from dry ground, and called it sea. He called the dry ground land. God called it all good. He thought what He had made was pretty sweet. But He wasn't done yet. All that land was still bare. So God made plants. Oak trees, palm trees, evergreen trees, grass, roses, sunflowers, and every other type of tree, bush, flower, or plant, including the ones we eat, like broccoli and Brussels sprouts. Then God looked at all the plants and called them good. Kids, that includes vegetables. After plants, God created the sun to shine all day and the moon to shine at night. He sprinkled twinkling balls of light in the sky and called them stars. And guess what? He called that stuff good too. Next, God filled the water with fish and whales and sharks and squid and every other sea creature. He filled the sky with flapping, chirping, squawking birds. And what do you think he called the fish and birds? Yep, good. Even though sometimes birds poop on our heads. Now there were fish and birds, but still nothing but plants on land. So God said, "Let there be animals." And animals of all kinds came crawling, scurrying, snorting, stomping, and racing across the dry ground. And just like everything else, God called the animals good. God was almost done, but he had one more thing to create that he had imagined from the very beginning when the earth was still empty. People. And he was going to love this creation more than anything else. See, the land and sky and animals and plants were beautiful, but none of them are as precious to God as we are. So finally, God created Adam. But God soon saw that Adam needed one more thing, a family. So God created Eve. And God's plan was for the two of them to have babies and live in this perfect world forever. No hunger, no sickness, no sadness, no loneliness, no dying. God took care of their every need like a loving father. It was perfect. God loved all his creation. Remember, he had called it all good. But when he looked at Adam and Eve and felt such a strong love for them, he called everything he had made very good. Then he rested to enjoy his perfect world. And that's the story of creation.
Wow, just think of it. God created everything we see out of nothing.
That's right. He just spoke it into existence.
Man, he must be really powerful to be able to do that.
And not only that, but wise.
Yes.
Girls, if you could speak something into existence and it would be right there in front of you, what would you create?
What would you create, Haley?
A second world.
A second world. Wow.
I would create Barbie.
Barbie. Okay, that's good.
Great.
Well, you know, God had a reason why he created everything, including you and me.
Haley and Riley, do you know why God created everything?
Because he loves us.
That is so true. God created the world for us to live in, and he created us so that he could show his love to us.
And how neat is that?
Wow, God sure must love us a lot to do that much for us.
That's right. And here's a fun song about how God created everything.
Hey, I have an idea. While we're listening to the song, why don't you grab a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen or something to draw with, and let's all draw something that God created, like maybe a picture of the earth, or maybe a pet, or an animal you like, or people you love, or something else God created. So let's draw while we listen, okay?
Darkness has not overcome. In the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God, and He was God. Through Him were all things made. Shine. overcome. In Him was life, and that life is a light to all mankind. He is the light to all mankind. In Him was life, and that life, it is a light to all mankind. He is the light to all mankind.
The true light that gives light to everyone was coming into the world. He was in the world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which was his own, but his own did not receive him. Yet to all who did receive him, to those who believe in his name, he gave the right to become children of God.
For the light shines in the darkness, and it has not overcome. Darkness has not overcome. For the light shines in the darkness, and it has not overcome. Darkness has not overcome. In Him was life, and that life, it is a light to all mankind. He is the light to all mankind. In Him was life, and that life, it is a light to all mankind. He is the light to all mankind.
I don't know about you, but I was drawing fast. How about you girls?
Let's show the pictures.
Okay, here we are. All right, well, I drew a picture of chicken and steak because I love chicken and steak. Haley, what did you draw?
The earth,
The earth. Why did you choose the earth?
because we live on it.
Okay, and Riley, what did you draw?
The sun.
The sun. Wow, because we need the sun, don't we? And Gretchen, what did you draw?
Well, I drew a nature scene with grass and clouds and birds and the sun.
Okay, wow, that's great.
Okay, but one thing's for sure, we can create, but not like God does.
No, but the best part of God's creation is that I get to know God as my friend.
That's right, and He's right here with us.
Always ready to help us when we're sad or in trouble.
And He's always there in the good times too.
And because of Jesus, I get to spend forever with God.
And that's great news.
Amen. All right. Always remember, kids, that God created you.
That's right, because He loves you and wants to be your friend.
Yes, so trust in God
Talk to God.
and have a great evening. Wave goodbye. We love you.
We love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.